If it's your kid asking, it's annoying. If it's a billion people across the globe, it's a challenge and responsibility. Farmers feeding the world. It's about agriculture coming together to increase both hunger solutions and food production.
Congressman Chris Collins, thank you for joining us.
Happy to be here.
First, can you just tell us why you decided to run for Congress?
Well, I've got a business background. I've also got 3 children and 3 grandchildren. And simply stated, I'm here to do my part to help America reclaim its past glory as the land of opportunity and restore the promise of the American dream for our children and grandchildren. That's a vision. And coming out of the business world, we always start with a vision. So I think that vision is one of a future for my children and grandchildren. I talk a lot about my granddaughter Luna, who's 1 year old, and the fact she owes the government $52,000 as her share of the federal debt. Mm-hmm. It's just plain wrong. And I want her to participate in an economy that's double what it is today, and to do that we have to grow our economy. So my focus is what policies in Washington will help grow the economy so we can again be the land of opportunity and our children and grandchildren live the American dream that I know I have. So that's what I'm doing here.
Can you tell us a little bit about your business background?
I'm a small business serial entrepreneur.
Okay.
With probably 22 or 23 companies. I'm known as someone who works with troubled, financially distressed businesses as a turnaround. I don't flip them or sell them. I then get involved in the continued operation, and today they're combined into about 8 different platforms for different industries: high-tech, low-tech, biotech, everything from kitchen cabinets to infectious disease to multiple sclerosis, drug development, and machinery. So at one point in time, each of these companies was financially stressed and or even bankrupt. And so I'm kind of a turnaround small business. I do it myself. I'm not part of, some venture group or anything. I'm kind of a individual investor.
So how does that experience relate to your role on the House Ag Committee?
Well, it just comes down to my whole background of what I'm doing here in Congress, and in fact, where did I want to serve? And I have one of the most agricultural districts in the country or the state, with a lot of dairy farming, 2 new Greek yogurt plants, a lot of specialty crops. We've got the vegetables, the fruits, cabbage, apples, peaches, and the like. So because of the weather pattern of upstate New York, think of Great Lakes all the way out to the Finger Lakes, I needed to be on agriculture to represent the primary economic engine of the 27th Congressional District, and in fact, in a year where there is a desperate need for a 5-year farm bill. So I asked leadership to respectfully put me on agriculture so I could represent the dairy farmers and crop farmers within the district. And then my other committee assignment, small business, was a natural fit to my business background. And then I was made a subcommittee chair, which is a bit perhaps unusual for a freshman, but I'm chairing the subcommittee on healthcare and technology, and have enjoyed the 2 hearings that I've already chaired. But ag is the economic driver of our district, with dairy, some of the big issues on immigration, as well as some controversial issues on the supply side and the like. So for all those reasons, I'm on exactly the 2 committees I wanted to be on.
Great. And when it comes to dairy or any other part of the Farm Bill, are there specific things that you want to see strengthened or reformed?
Well, on the 2 subcommittees of ag I'm on, one of them is the commodities and the R&D side of things. And so I've pushed for an increase in the research and development for the land-grant universities. Cornell University is just outside of my district, but it services Western New York.
Sure.
And when you get into the specialty crops, what comes out of Cornell in helping them in a lot of ways, whether it's peaches or apples, it doesn't matter. It's a cost a small farmer can't bear on his own, and this research helps everyone involved in these specialty crops. So I know the return on that. There's a very good return, and there are things the federal government should be doing. I'm a conservative, absolutely, but I do think there's a role for government. And sometimes that basic research is a proper role for government. So I'm actually pushing to make sure we not only maintain, but perhaps slightly increase these the R&D funds for the land-grant universities.
Okay. Do you have specific goals for dairy legislation as well?
You know, in talking to my farmers, it's interesting because the supply piece is very somewhat controversial. And I've put together a very large ag committee of many farmers, many of whom represent the dairy co-ops. And, you know, I've got 50 cow farms and 2,000 cow farms. I would say 85-15, if not 90-10, they are opposed to the supply side management piece of dairy, okay, which means, and I spoke with them last week, we'll be voting against that. But their big concern really is immigration and labor.
Sure. We
got these 2 Greek yogurt plants. I don't think we'll ever be able to produce enough milk to even service those 2 Greek yogurt plants. So the concern there is having a legal workforce. So when somebody goes to bed at night, they have a confidence the next morning their workers are going to be there.
Mm-hmm. Are you optimistic that those reforms for immigration will happen in your first term?
Certainly it's not part of the Farm Bill, but the answer
Right.
is yes. I think immigration reform for farmers mm-hmm. is not a partisan issue. It's a nonpartisan issue, and everyone knows that many of these jobs are jobs Americans don't want. So there's been compromise worked out with the unions on a wage scale just to ensure that this isn't cheap labor coming in to undercut Americans, but in fact the wages are certainly above any minimum wage you can imagine. We're talking at least $9 to $11 an hour. Mm-hmm. And then when you can't get Americans to take the jobs, it would be obvious then we need legal immigrants, whether it's a blue card or whatever you call it. And you know, we absolutely need that. If it's part of a broad immigration bill, that's fine. If not, we need to address that. And I think there's a lot of agreement on both sides of the aisle.
Are there any other particular goals that you've set for yourself in your first term?
No, my goals are a 5-year farm bill to give the farmers certainty and to, in Congress, just bring a fiscal conservative mindset and philosophy and you know, meld into the conference in a way that I can contribute based on a business background, which perhaps is a little different than many. And I've said where leadership needs me to serve, whether that's agriculture or small business, I'm there. And you know, I'm fighting for the future of America and certainly my 1-year-old granddaughter, Luna. So we need to grow the country. I think we have the path to do it on the Republican conference. And so I'll be advocating for that at every turn.
Thanks. And finally, can you share something that you do outside of work or outside of Congress?
Well, I suppose something that I do outside of work, but I've brought here, is I'm a lifelong scouter.
Okay.
Eagle Scout. My son's an Eagle Scout, and to the best of my knowledge, I'm the only member of Congress with the Scout flag displayed outside his office. And I'm chairing the Scouting Caucus and intend to take some members this year to the National Scout Jamboree in West Virginia at the summit. So, you know, lifelong scouter, member of the executive board. I am an assistant scoutmaster and have been for a long time, and it's been something my son and I enjoyed as he earned his Eagle Scout, and we went camping and hiking and all of those outdoor things. So, you know, very much involved in scouting. We'll continue to do that. You know, we have a saying that one problem with the youngest generation is they have something called nature deficit disorder.
Oh no, it's true.
So we're getting the boys outside. We're just having fun. They're learning life lessons. So that's something I do and I'm proud to bring with me actually to Congress.
Great. Congressman Collins, thank you so much.
Thank you, Sarah.